Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. It's me, Odio. Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons, I've defeated a monster and I should eat that monster? I've never thought that, but you know who did? Whoever wrote Delicious Dungeon. I got a review coming for you right now. Woohoo! So I gotta say, I love this show. This was a real surprise for me. I had no idea what it was. Saw it on Netflix. It just got recommended to me, and I was like, "Well, whatever. Let's check it out. Let's see what's going on." And my goodness, was I ever rewarded! It's like a Dungeons and Dragons adventure, kind of combined with Hell's Kitchen style stuff. You know, you're making different meals and things under pressure. Holy interesting. I couldn't believe how much fun I had watching this. I have never heard of this before in my life. Apparently it's from 2014, the actual whatever it's based on, but this is pretty new on Netflix, and they've got it's over 20, I think it's like 20 episodes, but what a fantastic story. If you're looking for a good time, something interesting that you've never thought to watch, this is the show. It's so much fun. The show starts off with a big bang, too. A big, exciting fight. They're fighting a dragon. There's magic flying. You see warriors and swords. You're like, oh my goodness, what am I watching here? Oh yeah, let's get going. And then someone gets eaten by a dragon, and then a magic spell goes off. Then everybody's on the surface. You're like, what just happened? Holy cow, what's happening? And then you realize that the main guy, I think his name is Laos. I don't really know how to pronounce it. His sister was the one who was eaten by the dragon, and she's magic, and she teleported them all out. So they know they got to go down there and try to get her before a certain amount of time passes. And this world is a very different world than I was expecting when I started watching this. I thought the whole world was going to be like Dungeons and Dragons. But no, apparently in this world, they're in a kingdom, but you go into these dungeons. And different rules of life and things apply when you're in the dungeon. So anyway, their whole party is broken apart, and Laos is still going to be there, and we get a few other party members. So the party that kind of stays together is Laos. He's the leader. He's like a human warrior type character. And he wants to go back down to save his sister. Then there's Chilchuck. He's the very mysterious halfling. We don't know what's going on. He doesn't like mimic treasure chests. We don't know where he's from or how old he is, stuff like that. And then there's Marcille. She's a really pretty like elf type mage. She seems like she's really sweet and things like that, but also she seems to be able to do some really dark magic, you find out as the dungeon run goes on. So pretty interesting. And as they get down there, you get introduced to more characters, because when you go to the top of every dungeon, there's actually these people that go down and they'll collect dead people and they can bring them back to life. If they've died in the dungeon, you can revive. So death doesn't really matter if you die down there, as long as you get revived. They run into other parties as they're down there that died and they get revived. But as they're going down through their adventure, they're going down to find the sister. They run into like another party. Like I said, some people die. You learn they can get revived. But they don't really have any money or anything like that. And they still have to try to get down. The dungeon has multiple levels. The dungeon itself was created by some kind of a mad mage. And it's a really deep dungeon. I don't know how many levels there are, but there's a lot. And each level seems to be an indeterminate size. Size of a city, wider, longer, I don't know. It's underneath the town up above, but the space is hard to tell, just like time passing. It's really hard to tell as how much time is passing. But as they go down to like level 2 or 3, they run into Senshi. He's a dwarf. He's been down there a long time. He also has a nice, interesting backstory about how he got stuck down there. But he's definitely my favorite character. And each episode is what I really enjoyed about it was almost like a procedural show. Each episode had a new thing for them to find. And what I mean by a new thing for them to find, I mean a new monster or animal that they're going to fight. And Senshi eats monsters. Oh my goodness. At first the party's like, what? You do what? But Laos is like, hold on now. Hold on, let him cook. Let him cook. Let's hear this out. And he says, yeah, you can kill them. You can eat different parts. He has apparently a book. I don't know if he made the book. I kind of think he did. But he joins them and they start cooking everything. And I don't know what to tell you, but it's like mind-blowingly interesting. They like defeated a suit of armor that had these little things in it, like they almost like oysters. They like plucked them out, and then they figured out how to cook them and steam them. They fight other monsters like tentacle monsters and whatever, and they're like, oh, we got to steam this. And they'll always show Senshi like chopping it up with his axe and preparing it, and they'll show him sauteing or making over the fire. And then when they're done, every episode, they show you the finished product, like ta-da! And you see this picture it'll be the most delicious food you've ever seen. You're like, oh my goodness, I want to eat that. And every episode, there's a different plate of different food. That's why it's like Hell's Kitchen. They're like improving every single time around. They got to impress Marcille. She doesn't even want to eat the food. Neither does Chilchuck really, but it ends up being so good most of the time, since she's such a great cook, that they have to. And Laos is all in, and every time you see a new episode, they're like, you see a new monster. And like, I started by the 6th or 7th episode, when we'd see a new monster, I'd be looking at my wife or people, I'd be like, you know what? I wonder what that's going to taste like. I wonder if they're going to make steak out of it or a burger. What are they going to do here? It was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. Every episode was fun, interesting, entertaining, and eating the monsters became the star. I wanted to see what the next dish was going to be. And they give you a nice conclusion on what happens when they get down there with the sister and the dragon. And it doesn't end there. It just kind of keeps going after that moment. And even at the end of the season, it's like still almost like in the middle of an adventure. But you get all the little backstories. As you're going down, they'll communicate over the fire. You'll see flashbacks with other characters that used to be in the party. Other people will come back in and they'll leave and come forward. It's really good. And the interlocking stories of the characters that come in and out, some characters will know the halfling, or they may only know the warrior, or they may only know the girl they're going down there to save. But they'll have a story to share. They'll have an interesting ability or a skill. Because you'll see when they're fighting monsters, there's a lot of different ways they have to win. It's not just walking with your sword and whacking. They have to learn patience. They have to learn like to use a shield and like block. They have to learn magic and things at certain points. Marcille has to do things she's not comfortable with, mostly with eating. Chilchuck the halfling, he's like a thief, and in his dark backstory, we know he's afraid of mimics. We know he's a lot older than he looks, but it's great. Like, you want to learn about them. You really like all the characters. They all bond together, and as they're going on their adventure, you're having fun. You're looking forward to the next beautiful dish they're going to make. It is fantastic. This is something that can be enjoyed by like anyone. I mean, you just have a fun. If you like animated stories, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, if you like any kind of anime at all, really, this is just really fun, easy to get into right from the start. You get the whole story yourself, and they slowly tease it out with all the little backstories. And by the halfway through the season, you're so interested in those backstories. You're so invested in these characters. You want them to get food each episode and things. It's a lot of fun. It's a super recommend to anyone looking for something, a little bit different you want to check out on Netflix. This is definitely a big time winner. I give this a 9 out of 10. Fun, adventure, and great looking food. The odometer only goes to 10, but a 9 is where this one's going to go. It's hardly anything wrong with it at all. But have you guys, anyone watched that? Please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. I really liked it. And remember, please like, share, and subscribe. And always remember, everybody, stay out of trouble.